As you are abundantly aware of, you don't need me to tell you this, all is not well in the kingdom of USMNT. We went to it in full detail in our last video. If you haven't checked out that video, check it out. Thank you for everyone who checked it out. It's performed very well. Obviously, we got the Reinas and the Berhalters, and the investigation with Greg Berhalter is ongoing. We don't know how long that is going to take. I don't think U.S. Soccer is in any rush right now. I don't think they really need to be in a rush. I'll explain that here in a moment. We have issues with the players in addition to this Reina and Berhalter, it's embarrassing in every level, and it's being picked up all over the world. And you hear people with different accents. They go, look what's happening in America. Can you believe this? The Reina and the Berhalter, and they're misquoting people, and they don't care, and they're just telling the story willy-nilly. It's humiliating. So we have to deal with that. And when it gets quiet, and it has, and it will, that's good. And we'll see how U.S. Soccer comes out at the other end. I hope they get a fire under their belly, but I won't hold my breath. I've covered U.S. Soccer for a long time, and they have their ways and their means. They need to grow up to be a different kind of federation at some point. But maybe. We had some indication that they may change that. So we'll get into that. So we have that. Then we have the news that Christian Pulisic is going to be out many weeks, which, we all hold our breath for Christian Pulisic, and he got through the World Cup. It was a pretty gnarly, it wasn't like some injury that, was freakish. It was, but it wasn't like, how did he get injured there? That was a legit hit. His foot just hit the leg of John Stones, and it couldn't go any further, and it buckled. So he's going to be out a few weeks. I guess the news could have been worse, but it's good in the sense that it happened after the World Cup, and now Christian Pulisic, and listen, you don't want to be playing with Chelsea right now, do you? They're a hot mess. They're getting worked. He's going to play with a bunch of kids. He's not going to be unfulfilled. But it's better that he's not injured. So I'm not saying it's good timing. I'm just saying it could have been worse timing. Brendan Aronson is having one bad game after another. I am pretty sure the next time we see Leeds, he will not be in the starting 11. I indicated that 2 games ago. I thought when they came out back, he had a poor game. I was like, he just can't finish. And then he had that howler of a mistake. And then FA Cup, he was like, eh. So I feel a benching coming. And then Anthony Hudson is appointed the interim coach. And, you look at it closer to Anthony Hudson, statistically the worst MLS coach in the history of the league with his time with the Rapids. So that's who's in charge of U.S. Soccer. So not great news anywhere. But we have a lot of track in front of us towards the next World Cup when it really matters, and the Gold Cup and the Copa America, which will happen. I was the first to come out with that and said, all my sources in South America have already said it's a done deal. They're already shopping the Copa America. They're just waiting for the things to fall into place with regards to the federations. But everything else is set from what I am hearing. And I have very good sources in South America because I've built them over the years. And now we get to the crux of this little show today, and that is Zinedine Zidane. Being approached reportedly first by L'Equipe, and then it was reported on many other publications that U.S. Soccer came up to him and we don't know if he offered him the job, but according to goal.com, let me see how they rephrase this, that it was an attractive offer both personally and sportingly, with a high salary, and, it was very positive. So I don't know if there was an actual offer or they were just kind of going up, but it sounded like it happened since the French post has been filled. Didier Deschamps has re-upped for 2026. On Saturday, he got an extension with France. And then there was some afters where the sporting director, I think it was the sporting director, said that he wouldn't even take a call of Zinedine Zidane. And they were never going to get out of bed. I think that's what he said. It sounded better in French. With Didier Deschamps. And why would you? 2018 World Cup champion, 2022 World Cup runner-up. So we're going to talk about the coaching search because we believe there is one going on. We think the U.S. is going to be taking their sweet Tulsa time, but we think there is one. But here on the Soccer OG, check out the Soccer OG podcast. We are going to have Doug McIntyre of Fox Sports join us. We'll talk more about this potential coaching search and the Berhalters and the Reynas and all the poo-poo that's going on. Check out all the Soccer OG podcasts that are currently out there and go through them all. Some are dated, but some are evergreen. And we appreciate all those who have tuned in. And like and subscribe us here. I feel like I'm in Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro with his attire. Yes, clean shaven too. May have some big news coming up this week. May have some big news. So stick around on my social media handles. But yeah, like and subscribe. I'm going to do the thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. And I'll stop doing this ridiculous noise. Okay, so Zinedine Zidane. We kind of mentioned the parameters. He said, we heard that there was also an approach by the Portugal and the Brazil jobs. And why wouldn't you want Zinedine Zidane? He said the only national team he wants to coach is for France. Now, people think, oh, wait, but the France job is taken. Look, again, for people kind of new to the sport, national team jobs are not the same as club jobs. If you get a good club job, it's a lot better than a national team job. It's a full-time gig. You have the players with you the whole time. It's better. The best coaches are with clubs. And that's why you have, I don't want to say retreads, but you do in many cases. And those are really the candidates that we're hearing for U.S. soccer, right? Roberto Martinez, Hervé Renard, Jogi Löw, Marcelo Bielsa to a lesser degree. But these are guys that are out there and are available. And do we feel like we have to rush in? I don't want Anthony Hudson in charge of the U.S. soccer. We have those two games coming up against Colombia and Serbia. He is going to have them. The question is, how much longer does he have them? I get the feeling it's going to be for a bit. And I don't want U.S. soccer to rush in there and pick people. People are, hey, could have got Roberto Martinez. Is Roberto Martinez that great of a candidate? Yes, he was in charge of Belgium for 6-7 years. Coached in the Premier League with Everton and Wigan. Did well with Wigan. It was okay with Everton. Nothing exemplary on the national team level. He got a great Belgium team. I don't want to diminish what he did. And he has a lot of things off the field that I think are attractive to U.S. soccer. But do you rush in for him to beat Portugal for his signature? I don't know. I'd like to keep all the options open, but who knows? But back to Zidane. There are some things here that I'm encouraged by. And we'll get to some candidates here in a minute. I would believe, and maybe this is just they're blowing smoke and trying to show that they're going to get out there. I believe that they know they have to get a big name candidate. For what I said in the last video, not just because there's going to be a vacancy here, we can all presume. We'll see what happens with Greg Berhalter. I think we'd be shocked and disappointed if he's brought in just because of the. I'm not like many that say Greg Berhalter was a disaster. I think his cycle was more good than bad. But these current events now, all that is really all that I need to hear to make sure that we move on. And U.S. soccer should not settle and say, okay, go, take the path of least resistance to bring Greg Berhalter back. You don't want Anthony Hudson either. But I get the feeling that they know they have to go big because the U.S. is hosting the World Cup. Zinedine Zidane would be amazing because you could trot him out, one of the biggest stars in the world game, with a accomplished career, 3 Champions League titles. He's won the La Liga a couple times. Everyone knows, everyone respects Zinedine Zidane. And this would be great for U.S. soccer to have someone of that ilk representing our national team. So I think U.S. soccer realizes they have to kind of go big here. I'm not saying that they're going to. I think they still want to look at very good American candidates. But there is a positive spin there. Now, the fact that they could go for Zinedine Zidane tells you a couple things because there were some restrictions on the last coach and how Greg Berhalter came about. And that was that a U.S. national team coach had to speak English. And from what we know, Zinedine Zidane is not fluent in English. Why would he be? He's never spent any time in the United States or England or an English-speaking country. And then he has to live in HQ, right? He has to live in the United States. By the way, my friend Paul, I'm breaking the fourth wall. It's the second straight show I've hit this obviously fabricated wall. So the cat's out of the bag. I'm getting too demonstrative, all right? I'm sorry. Hope he doesn't see this video. We play rugby on the beach, and he reamed me for that. Hey, you hit your wall. So I think that U.S. soccer is willing to concede on those things, especially the English-speaking part. I mean, we haven't really heard them say that. I mean, Ernie Stewart was hell-bent on that back in the day. No, we need someone who speaks English. That's why Tata Martino. Maybe not getting Tata Martino was a blessing in disguise. I'm a huge Tata guy, but he had a horrible cycle with Mexico, and he mishandled that in many ways. He went with the old guard. It blew up in his face. So I think there's some signs there. I think they will look at the candidates that are out of work as Marcelo Bielsa, Jurgi Löw, who would be great. Didier Deschamps would have been great. He's off the market. Roberto Martinez is off the market. People say Mauricio Pochettino. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that's going to happen. But a big name coach where they say, okay, we're going to give you a little more power. Because of what happened with Berhalter and Reina, we all know that U.S. soccer is a bit of a laughingstock. But it's still a great gig if U.S. soccer gives that manager the power they want. Like maybe they did with Jurgen Klinsmann. You go, okay, we'll concede here a little bit. We're still in charge, but you can do this. And maybe it becomes a very attractive coaching position very quickly. So there is the ability to do that. And I think U.S. soccer knows how important this is. And you want the right coach. If you can get him and give him a little extra power, you do it. And I get the feeling U.S. soccer might be going for it, even though there may not have been an actual offer here. Now, when do you fill that position? I know people want it now. Okay, but I gave you the names and there's a short list. And maybe a couple of them are off Deschamps, Martinez. You've got someone to cover it for the next couple months. I get the feeling you're going to get better choices in the summertime. You will. Now, that gives you 3 years before the World Cup. Remember, there's no qualifying, so U.S. soccer, yes, are on the clock, but not on the clock. They don't have to. It's ticking. Hey. So that is the limit. You can wait for the summertime. It's not ideal, but if you don't have the guy picked out, then you can wait for summertime. I can assure you, you will have new good candidates come up. And you still have enough time in 3 years. American candidates. Tom Bogert mentioned on Twitter that Jim Curtin, who I would imagine most of us would agree is the best American candidate, not named Jesse Marsh. It's probably Jesse Marsh, Jim Curtin, and then Steve Cherundolo at LAFC. I work for LAFC. I think Steve Cherundolo is very happy there, so I don't think he's in any rush to take this job, which can stop a lot of momentum. Jim Curtin's been with Philadelphia a long time. Out of contract, makes sense. Jesse Marsh, we'll see how it goes. Does he want this job? I think even if it bottoms out at Leeds, he's still going to get some offers. He's done a really nice job. He's going to get, I imagine, some new players here in the winter to kind of get him across the finish line here. And I think they'll avoid relegation, which will be a good year. Do you go American? Now, as I said in the past show, you want American because these coaches are going to be doing a lot of appearances, a lot of outreach, because they're hosting the World Cup. So it's not just coaching. So Jim Curtin, who is a lovely guy, every time I talk with him, I'm just always blown away and say he's just fantastic. And Jesse is the same. Maybe those guys are available. Maybe one, maybe both. I have no problem with either one of those two. Would I like Zidane better? Sure. But going American has its benefits. Most national teams go their national team. Look what France did. Brazil's always got a Brazil coach. They go foreign? Yeah. I don't know. Has Mexico benefited by going foreign? Not really. You usually go with a domestic choice. And there's some good ones for the U.S. So that is interesting, certainly, about how that may roll out. We all have to be patient. We all have to be patient right now. We hope that U.S. soccer has ambition, and we hope that U.S. soccer relinquishes some power, and we hope that U.S. soccer doesn't go cheap. They can't bring in Greg Berhalter back. And every day that goes by, and I was enthused by this Zidane move because it told me that maybe they're starting to do that. Maybe it's a smokescreen, but I can't imagine they go back to Greg Berhalter in the midst of an investigation that is going to take a toll on a lot of people there. And I think everyone wants a clean slate. Everyone. And this is the moment. So, all in all, be excited about the fact that this news broke. Whether it was to throw people off or not, I just don't believe that really is the case. How serious they were about Zinedine Zidane? Probably not as serious as we would like to think. I don't think a contract was obligated, and maybe they knew it was a long shot, and they still threw out some feelers. But it's Zinedine Zidane. It's Zinedine Zidane. And again, I can assure you that he's not going to take a national team job. His next job will be with a club, and he'll be paid very well, and he'll have a lot of power, and he'll be happy. Enjoy the 2 games in January. Anthony Hudson, yes, he hasn't a lot of success, but he will get these guys going. We'll see if some new faces. I expect to see some new faces there. We'll join you here with roster selections and see where they're going. We'll be kept busy, but be patient with this coaching. I don't think it's going to be filled anytime soon. The Soccer OG, check out the Soccer OG podcast, where all podcasts are available. Check out the Soccer OG here on YouTube under my name, Max Bretos. Like and subscribe. Some news to share with you very soon. In the meantime, we'll be back. And who knows, man? There is never a dull moment. Who knows what will happen next? But I will tell you this, something will happen.